Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
Welcome back to the show. We are here with Organized by JM. Go to the website. That's organizedbyjm.com. And who is JM? It's Jessica Moskal. She's joining us again live here today from beautiful Buffalo, New York, talking about her home organizing company, which, boy, oh boy, this is the time. The spring is here. Time to get organized. And maybe you're moving, packing, unpacking. She does it all. Welcome back. How are you?
I'm so good, Jill. How are you?
I'm doing well, thanks. How's the weather in Buffalo?
You know what? It's actually been 70 the past couple days, so it's actually spring in Buffalo. We usually don't get that till May. So it's nice here.
Wow, warmer than us in the downstate because I'm on Long Island, so it's crazy.
Yes, we're having this like weird little thing, but yeah, we're like in full spring mode over here. We're excited for it.
All right. Well, pleasure to have you back. Tell us a little bit about the work you do, and we'll get in today's topic of spring cleaning and organizing. I love it.
Yes. So we are a Buffalo, New York based home organizing company. We help with that packing, unpacking that you mentioned, but of course we also help with any downsizing, decluttering, organizing your space to make it functional for you in the space that you live in, to help you get your routines, your habits in order. Your house has to bring you joy. You have to enjoy being in your space. So we want to help create spaces that make you happy, make you proud to be in and live in. And again, if you're going through those life transitions of moving into a new house, downsizing, we kind of help all transitions of life all along the way. So organizing, downsizing, decluttering, packing, unpacking. And we're excited in Buffalo because it's warm out this week, which again, like I said, we don't normally get this time of year. So we kind of thought the perfect topic this week was spring. You hear about spring cleaning, but we want to talk about that spring organizing because it obviously goes hand in hand. And you kind of can't do one without the other. You can, but you're not doing it the right way if that's the case. So we're going to focus on some spring cleaning and organizing today.
Exactly. It's a whole process. We're excited to get started because this is something near and dear to my heart. I've been trying to do my home share of organizing, and I've gotten stumped. I've lost that motivation, which I think a lot of us do. And I got to get back into it. So fill me in. Where do we start?
Now, when we're talking about temperatures, I feel like that's one of the natural reasons that we kind of get motivated. Like that's why we all love being in sweatpants all winter long and unmotivated to do these projects because it's cold. It's crappy out. We don't want to, we're not motivated when it doesn't feel good outside. So we try and do these projects in our home, but it's hard to stay motivated. So I feel like naturally in the spring, it's a lot easier to have that natural motivation, the sun shining. We don't see sun for a couple months, at least definitely not here in Buffalo. It just came out the other day and everybody emerges out of their house. So you're more motivated once that sun comes out and you feel those warmer temperatures. But I kind of want to talk about, we hear a lot about spring cleaning. And realistically, when you're doing spring cleaning or spring organizing, it shouldn't just be that one time of year thing. It really should be for every seasonal transition because your habits are going to change, your routines are going to change. Again, like I'm a homebody. So in the winter, I know I love being in my space and sitting on my couch and kind of lounging around. But if my house is chaotic, I can't relax. And that's what I want to do in the winter. That's my time to just kind of sit and recharge. But when spring comes, I want to do all the projects. Again, that sun's out. I'm a little more motivated, but what's important about this seasonal change is when the temperature changes, again, your habits are changing, your routines are changing. School sports are starting up. There's a lot more things that, events and activities that go on outside. Again, you're using your house differently because there's things that you're using outside. There's things that you're doing inside. So it's the perfect time, again, especially the springtime, to do a seasonal swap, whether it's those clothing or items in your house that you're not going to be using in the spring. So it's time to do that seasonal swap rather than just adding to it, which is going to cause clutter. So things like think about your clothing, in Buffalo or anywhere in New York, it's freezing in the winter. Most of us don't have big enough closets to store our winter stuff, all our bulky sweaters and jackets, and all of our shorts and tank tops and summer stuff, even though we do have, beautiful summers here in Buffalo. We have very scary winters too. So that's one of those things is you don't want to add all your bulky sweaters to your
Nope.
shorts and tank tops. You don't want to clutter up your space. So it's important, like now's that time. It's important to do that swap rather than just having it all out at once. Consider having those seasonal bins, whether it's in the basement or a backstock storage closet. I know most of us have storage bins in the basement on our shelves
Uh-huh.
with
Yep,
our
totally.
seasonal stuff. Again, don't cause clutter in your space. If you can do that seasonal swap, we understand it's kind of a pain and it's a hassle, but you're going to be happier in your space if you're not living within clutter that doesn't need to be there. But it's important to reorganize your stuff based on the importance of the items in usage. So think about it this way. In your garage, right now our snow blowers are in front, our lawnmowers are in, the back of the garage, at the back shed. It's time to swap those things. Again, don't clutter your space, do that swap. And you can kind of look at this in every different room of the house. If you're saying, hey, I really got to swap out our jackets this week, spend 5 minutes. It doesn't have to be this big crazy routine. Just go room by room and kind of prioritize, what do you need to do? Again, those coats need to be swapped out, those winter boots, the bulky sweaters in your closet. That's the stuff that needs to be swapped, but it doesn't have to be this long, scary, daunting process. Honestly, I think the cleaning is more complicated than the actual organizing is, but it's a good time, especially spring, like I said, because we're more motivated to go through your house, go room by room, and really just kind of diagnose what's happening in that space and come up with a game plan. And it again doesn't need to take long. 5 minutes here and there. That's all you need. All you
Perfect.
need.
And let me ask though, you mentioned about the seasonal swap, right? Is there
Yes.
something though, how should we be storing our clothes? Is there something that we should like just putting them in a bin is okay? Should we be wrapping them? People used to start vacuum wrapping stuff. Like, how do you keep them preserved
Yep.
better? Is there any, do you put dryer sheets in between it so they smell nice?
So, okay, I'm not gonna lie, it is kind of preference. Everything you just mentioned, we've seen everybody do for different reasons, but it does kind of depend on the storage space in your house. I see a lot with closet space. I this closet, my closet space behind me. I built this space to work for me. This is my personal closet. I'm the only one in it. I can store my all season stuff here, but that's not the case in many houses. Many people have one closet or they're sharing one not so great size closet with their significant other, and you don't want to clutter the space. So the best advice we can always give is create yourself that seasonal storage. So the most common way, get yourself a storage container, just a storage tote. That's all you need. And whether you're labeling it just seasonal, or if you are somebody who has a lot of clothing and you want to do uh shorts and pants and then tank tops and t-shirts. The weather type bins are great if you're storing it in like an attic or somewhere that gets a lot of moisture, even in a basement. Those weather type bins just have a little extra like a foam strip, and it latches a little bit better to keep
Yeah.
any moisture out, keeps bugs and anything else away. But if you're somebody who has an extra closet in the house that's, I don't know, maybe it's just filled with junk because you don't know what to put in it. Now is the time to take a peek in that closet and say, all right, we're not using a lot of stuff in here. This could actually be our backstock, our seasonal closet. Transfer the stuff from your day to day that you're not wearing into that secondary space. So it does kind of depend on space. It does kind of depend on personal preference, because some people, I understand, prefer things hung rather than folded in a storage tote. But it does kind of depend on the space that you have in your house too. But we love a tote. We love a tote. Make sure it has a label on it so you don't
So it
forget about
does.
your,
Yeah.
your
Yeah.
off-season storage. Yep. Um, but the same thing goes for, let's think if you're going through your mudroom, your entryway, you're going to have that same thing rather than just the clothing. You're going to have the hats, the scarves, the boots, the gloves, any winterized item that you're going to have that in your entryways. And the nice thing about moving your winter stuff down into a secondary location, into the basement, say, in that storage tote, is that's the bulky stuff. You almost have a little bit less in the spring and summer. There might be a pair of rain boots, a rain jacket, but we're not wearing as many layers in the summer, or in the spring for that matter. So it's kind of nice to see a little bit more stuff go into that seasonal space. Um,
Hmm.
but again, if you can separate that stuff out, it's going to naturally give you more space in your house, and no one's mad about a decluttered, nice, clean and organized space that you have.
Got it. I know. All right. What else is on tap for us to do this? Because there's a lot of different rooms and spaces in your house. And some
Yes.
people like, well, how do I start? Where do I start to declutter? What are the best what's the best advice on
Yes.
that?
The spring cleaning or the seasonal organizing that we're doing, it really can be a huge undertaking. And I feel like people can be a little bit intimidated with that. That's all the magazines are talking about. That's all, we're talking about it, but you're kind of put up against a wall of like, hey, I got to do this spring cleaning. I got to do this spring organizing. But if you're up for a challenge and you really do want to go through the entire house, of course, we think it's very important to do so. Or hey, hire an organizer. We love to do those seasonal transitions. We have a lot of clients who have lots of clothing, lots of things that they just love, but you got to do that transfer. You got to do that transition. So it's a huge undertaking. But if you, again, pick a couple priority rooms. I really think that the mudroom can be very important. The closet can be very important. But if you're going to take a few minutes to go room by room by room, a couple things that you might want to consider are things like, let's talk about, the kitchen. The kitchen can be one. A lot of people host more in the summer and in the spring months. Again, we're naturally more happy and motivated. We want to invite people into our houses. So the kitchen may be a good place to start. It's a good time to check your spices, check your pantry for any expiration dates. Again, it's a very good thing to do seasonally, but if we're going to do this one big focus on spring cleaning and organizing, let's tackle that now. So check those
Totally.
spices, check those food
Okay.
expiration dates, get through that pantry. Maybe you're somebody who, again, hosts a lot. Maybe you have extra spring or summer, like, colored dishes or different platters that you bring out. Think of it like Christmas time. Like you have your
Yeah.
holiday stuff, you have your summer stuff too, your pastels, your pretty colors, and that dishware is going to come out. Or even, we're not cooking as much in the crock pot. I'm a huge crock pot fan in the winter because
Mm-hmm.
it's cold, it's quick, easy, lazy meals. But if I'm not using that in the summer, maybe let's pull that out of the kitchen, put that into our basement storage on a shelving unit, and let's swap it out
Totally.
for our spring and summer dishes that we're going to be using a little bit more. It's another good time to look at your Tupperware. Again, everybody hates the Tupperware situation, but take the 5 minutes, go through, match up your Tupperware containers, make sure the bottom and everything has a matching lid. And again, let's get that stuff out that's just not being used. But prioritize those rooms,
Well, I
couple
have all the
rooms,
Chinese
little
food
things.
containers and stuff, and I finally
Oh,
the
we've
other day,
talked about it.
yeah,
Yeah.
we talked about the round circle ones, and then I had all the black, like rectangular ones,
Like
and
the little food prep containers. Yeah.
so you know what I did? I made extra food last week. I made 2 batches of chicken soup, so I started giving them away to my father and
Yes.
my sister. I'm like, if I put the soup in here this time and not my good Tupperware, I'll get
It'll
rid of
leave.
them, and
It's
then
gotta
I
go.
don't exactly, and I don't have to worry about getting it back. Let them worry about the hassle of throwing it away.
Yeah. And it's actually funny you say that because we keep noticing in people's kitchens that they do have their good Tupperware and then they have like the giveaway Tupperware. So it's like if it's in that
Yeah.
container, it's gotta go. Either you're tossing it in the container at the end of the week if you didn't give it away, or your kids are coming over, give it to them when they leave because it's not coming back into your house. Keep your good Tupperware for you. Get the cheaper, the free stuff to go. It's a good idea. It's a good idea.
All right. What else do we have? By the way, we got to remind everyone how we contact you.
Yes, so you can call or text us anytime at 716-493-4097. You can check us out on Facebook, Instagram at Organized by JM, or check out our new website at www.organizedbyjm.com. We're always available, so if someone's always around. I'm usually the one on social media answering everybody's messages, and we love all the questions we get. So
And your closet's so
we
nicely
invite
organized. Is that
but
really a
yeah,
closet? I
I know,
love it.
when we first designed my closet and office, again, my office here, I was like, I'm gonna have this great office space. And I go, I don't know if I want to see that in the background, but it's organized. We got all the bins, the bins are all right
I
here.
see.
And
I'm like, oh, I'm
everything.
like noticing that nice sweater with the red, black and the white
Our
trim.
hangers are perfectly spaced.
I love it. What type
I
of hangers are you using? Just curious. Do you go for the
velvet.
felt?
I
Oh,
go
okay,
with
the
the
velvet.
velvet.
That's the
I
word.
go with
Okay.
the velvet because I like that things don't slip off of them, and they're streamlined. But I will tell you, so we partner with our friends at California Closets. We have a lovely closet designer, Kim, that we work with. When she designed this room for me, I wanted a little bit of an accent, and I chose like gold the hangrails and the handles on everything.
Okay.
So, like I would do for a client, black velvet hanger. So the bottom part's black and the hanger part's silver. And I said, well, the silver is going to clash with that gold. I went out and found ones that have the black top, so it's a black on gold. Listen, we can source anything.
What brand? Do you know what brand they are?
Oh, I honestly, oh,
But if I just search for, because I want to redo my closet eventually, and I got to get rid of my stupid
send me
cleaner
a
hangers.
you got to send me a message and I'll send you the link. See, that's the stuff too, is if people, we love sourcing product for people. If you have an awkward space or something that you're like, hey, I have this really cool space, but the colors are clashing, we love that product research because then we have it in our back pocket. Meanwhile, I can't think of where I even got my hangers from just because it's been a few years and it was a one-off. But you message me. We'll get you what you need for your space. I love
Thank
this
you,
stuff.
thank you, thank you.
Oh gosh, of course. So, all right, I want to talk about a little about this spring cleaning thing. So, something that we really don't talk a lot about is the cleaning portion of things because it's not. Well, I'm gonna let you guys in on a little secret. So, if you're a organizing client of ours, if you've done any virtual organizing, again, whether you're in California or Florida or anywhere, and you're somebody who can tackle a space, you just need a little bit of guidance through it. We love to do that virtual organizing where we walk through your space, we talk about what's working, what's not working, and we can kind of help you. We can be your supporter and we can walk you through the process of what specifically to do with your items, your space, how to organize it. We'll suggest the products. Again, all customized to you.
Okay.
Or if you're a hands-on client with us in Buffalo, um, we don't advertise that we offer cleaning services, but if you are a past client of ours, and you're somebody who has completed any organizing project with us, we do have a team of cleaners, and we really wanted to bring that to our list of services because what goes more hand in hand than cleaning and organizing? You kind of can't have one without the other, and that's all this hype in the spring and talking about cleaning, organizing, and it felt wrong that we didn't offer it. It wasn't something we could help our clients with. So we do have a
Yeah.
team of cleaners that work with us now. They're on our team. They're part of Organized by JM. So we do like to touch on the cleaning aspect a little bit too, because there are some things that I feel like people forget about in their homes because it's not a task that you're doing all the
Yeah.
time. Vacuum all the time, you wipe down your counters. Those are things that you do multiple times a day, a week. But there's little things that we forget about until we're laying on the couch, we're watching TV, and we look up at the ceiling fan and we notice all that dust that's on all the fan blades. There's little things that I'm going to touch on just kind of quick. Just want to run through a couple ideas for people, things that you may not think of when it comes to the cleaning side of things. So those fans seriously are one of them. I'm not gonna lie. I looked at mine earlier this morning when I was getting ready for our call today. I went, oh my God, my fan, there's just that layer of dust and all of just the crap on it that you want to get off. So I said, okay, I got to do my fans. That's going to be part of my spring cleaning this year. I've got one in the living room, one in the back living room. I've got the one in the mud room. I've got the one in the kitchen. It makes you look at your space a little different. But if all that stuff's blown around, maybe that's why you're vacuuming so much because you've got all that dust
And the
sitting on
vents
the
that are
fan.
in the hallway, in the
And the vents
bathroom. And
and
I'm
the
like,
blinds. Don't forget about the
oh,
blinds. I just did those last week because I went, what's that shadow on those blinds? I went, it's spring. It's after winter. It's time to
yeah,
clean the blinds, the fans. It's things you don't think about all the time. But it's a good time to, again, if you have all that dust that's been sitting around, replace those filters, whether it's in your furnace, your air purifiers, your
yeah.
air conditioners. It's perfect to do it at season change. Um, One thing that we can't help ourselves doing when we organize is, let's say we're going through a kitchen. What
Okay.
happens when you cook food? All those crumbs get into the drawers. Now you're picking up your pots and pans and you're seeing all those crumbs in there or something you've spilled. It's the perfect time to go through your kitchen. And again, maybe you're
Mhm.
going through and you're downsizing and you're getting rid of some things that you're not using anymore, or you're moving
Yep.
that crock pot to the basement for off season. Just vacuum out those drawers. If you see crumbs, take a few minutes, vacuum them out, wipe them down if you've spilled anything. Again, season change, it's a perfect time to do that. And here's another time where that organizing and cleaning really kind of overlap and go hand in hand. We'll kill two birds with one stone here, if you will. Get that stuff organized, get those drawers cleaned out as well. Um, Another thing too, if you're sticking in the kitchen, is the fridge. I feel like until somebody spills something in the kitchen or in the fridge, we forget to go through and wipe down our. I just did it the other day. I spilled something and I went, "Oh, it's time."
My one of my containers of chicken soup, the kids knocked out of the freezer.
Oh
And
yeah,
so, okay, hold on. So the soup is frozen, but the
yep,
plastic went everywhere. And then as I'm looking at the plastic went everywhere, I'm like,
yep.
why? And this happens all the time. I don't know. I'm gonna just ask you this weird question. I have like the old school, like you pull out their fridge like this, and the freezer on the left. So there's these
Yes.
little shelves, and my hair is always in there. And I might see I'm like, how does hair get in there? I'm
How
like, I'm
does
not in the
it
freezer
happen?
that much, but my
I know.
hair always is in those little compartments. I'm like,
It's everywhere. It's everywhere. And we have pets, so we'll do that too. We'll go to grab something.
hmm
Like, you open up the doors and you go, how is your dog hair in here? It's
Yeah.
walking through the kitchen. It's like, again, it's if you're not vacuuming all the time, it's like thing, if our hair falls to the floor and we walk by, it's going to kick up and it's going to go somewhere, and it happens, and we always go, oh gosh, it's so gross, I haven't cleaned it. But listen, it happens to all of us. When we're organizing, we don't judge. It's a house. We all live in it. We're
Yep.
busy people. We don't have time to clean and organize and do that stuff all the time. That's why we're here. That's our jobs. That's what we're here to do. But we're not judging. Trust me. I I did it last week. I spilled something, and then I went, oh, I got to clean this up. Oh, look, there's another spot. Oh, there's hair. Oh, there's it's taken a couple minutes just to do it. I know it's daunting, but start yourself off on the right foot for spring. Get yourself organized. Clean some of these things out. You'll feel
Yep.
better, and you'll be so happy you did. Nobody ever organized a space or cleaned a space and went, wow, I feel terrible after doing that. You may physically hurt. You may be sore because, you're crawling around getting that stuff done, but nobody ever regretted organizing or cleaning their space. So there's potential for a good kickoff to spring this year. That's for sure.
Got it. All right. Thank you so much. We still got 5 minutes left in the show, Jessica. I'm not wrapping us up short. What other tips do you have for us?
So, all right, couple other things that we can touch on for the spring cleaning. Again, these are a couple things that we don't do every day. It's a good time to do things seasonally. So we talked about the fridge. We talked about vacuuming out the crumbs. How about, Jill, I think this is one for you because we've talked about this before. We're swapping out for our spring purses now. It's time to clean out, dump out your purse. Look at all that, the gum that's been in there, the wrappers, the old receipts that are in there. We're swapping out clothes. We're going to swap out our purses, our handbags. Let's clean them out, wipe them out, throw them. If your bag isn't anything too crazy, you can throw some in the wash. You can throw things on delicate, just wiping out. It's things that we don't think about, but it's seasonal. Maybe you're
Yeah.
pulling out your spring bag from last year and you're like, ooh, look at all those receipts and all that stuff I didn't clean out from last year. We all do it.
So true. We do.
We all do it. And another thing too is, and I'm guilty with this one, is how about your car? It's not your home, but sometimes it can be your like secondary living space. You're dropping the kids off at school, you're picking them up for doctors, then they got to go to sports after school. Now you got to go grocery shopping. Now you got to come home. Our cars are like our secondary home on wheels. I know I'm in my car many, many, many hours a week, picking up
hmm
product for clients, going to jobs, dropping off donations and garbage and recycling. I have to go through and clean out my car probably more than the average person, but it's like my second office. I'm in there all the time, and we're snacking in the car. There's wrappers and crumbs, and I spill my tea all the time, and then
It's,
then something gets sticky. And but it's a good time too, because if you're living in a cold area, there's all the salt from getting in and out of your car from the boots.
yep.
It's a good time to just kind of take a look. Again, it doesn't have to be crazy. We try to make organizing exciting. It doesn't have to be a daunting project. But if you're taking 5 minutes or just taking the extra few minutes to be aware of your surroundings
Yeah.
and what needs to be cleaned, what needs to be tidied. Hey, there's gloves over here. We haven't worn those gloves. It's been warm out. Let's move them out of the space. It's just being more aware of your space so you can be happier within your space.
Do you work with people who store lots of bags,
Yes, we
plastic bags
do.
from the store and paper
Yes,
bags?
we do.
Ugh,
All right, here's a little trick. So
go
most people
ahead.
usually just like push them into a drawer, or they have those like bag organizers you just
hmm
kind of shove them up into. If you take one, so if you just kind of like slim it out so you have the handles on one end and the end part on the other. If you kind of like twist them up and wrap them around your finger and like tuck them into each other, they're going to be about this big. They're not going
Okay.
to be one big bulky bag. But if you can wrap them around your fingers, twist them up real small, whether you're storing them in a basket or a drawer, it just takes
Mm-hmm.
up less space. It's just little things that if there's a way to store something and it's taking up this space versus this much
Then,
space, it's free space. I like to
okay.
see the bottom of my drawers in my kitchens, I or my
Yeah.
closets, wherever, utility closet. I like to know that I have that extra space and something's not taking up as much space as it needs to be. Because again, if you're seeing clear surfaces, clear drawers, you're seeing the bottom of whatever surface, it's more minimal. It just gives you a little bit more peace of mind. You feel a little bit better knowing something's not cluttered. And again, all goes back to mood. Springtime, I'm happy. We've got
Me
70-degree
too.
weather out here. I want my house to feel good. I
I
want
can't believe it.
everything to feel good.
Amazing. I know,
I know.
right?
I
And in
know.
closing today, where do we leave off? What do we tell our listeners?
So I will tell anybody, for anyone who's in the Buffalo area or who travels into Buffalo often, the Buffalo Home Show is going on this weekend and next,
Oh,
and we will
cool.
be there. So and we're going to share a lot on social media too. So even if you can't be there with us, we love to share stories. And we shared yesterday, we just set up yesterday, we're doing a playroom display this year and a garage display, getting ready for that spring cleaning.
So
Garage is start
cool.
up soon. We're super excited. But we love answering and talking all things organizing. So if you guys have questions on product or just how to organize, or if you're not sure that hiring an organizer is right for you, we'd love to answer all those questions. We can talk spring organizing and cleaning. But again, if you can't be there with us, follow along on social media. We are always sharing stuff in our stories, especially on Instagram. We want to help you guys out. We'll give out some nice free information to you guys. Anything we can do to help you be happier in your space. And Jill, like you said earlier, hey, where can I find a certain type of hanger? I'm looking for a product like that. We
Yep.
share all of this stuff, all of our favorite organizing products. We even share some of our favorite cleaning products. You can go to our social media and find these things, but there's also an app called LTK, Like to Know It, where you can kind of shop our posts. So if we
Okay.
posted a picture of a closet that you like and you go, wow, I really like those hangers, the app is
Hey
called
now.
LTK, Like to Know It. You go right on there and you can shop the post that we use. You can shop the product that we use in that client's house. And if you're inspired by it, there's links right to purchase. It's very easy. But you can have some inspiration along the way of, hey, I like that product. Hey, I like how it was used in this space. I would like to do that in my space. And it's one more way that you can get your space organized without
Right.
having to hire an organizer.
All
Uh,
right.
and it's pretty cool. We love to share and help out anybody out that we can.
Great. Thank you so much. Organized by JM. You have a fantastic day, and hopefully we'll be talking soon. I like this,
Yes.
getting us all motivated. Thank
Oh
you so
yes.
much for moving
Thank you,
us along.
Jill.
Are you looking for even more of the podcasts and hosts that you love? The Podcast Business News Network is proud to announce that you now have even more ways to listen live. Check out the MyTuner Radio, online radio box, and Simple Radio apps on iOS and Android, or find us online. Search for Business News Network on mytuner-radio.com, or search Podcast Business News Network on streama.com and onlineradiobox.com/US. Take your podcast on the go and don't miss a minute of the action.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house.
And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned. This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.